Yeah, I think it's kind of two pieces that go into one. So it's just do the work, and then what's really been eye-opening to me within Uncaged is seeing other people just do the work. So I think before coming into Uncaged, there was this notion in my head that the people out there really getting to the level that I might aspire to have some kind of secret power or trick or something that I'm lacking. And being around other people that are ahead of me in life and are open and honest about their struggles has allowed me to see that they're no different. They're just doing the work. So seeing everyone go through that has just made me realize, okay, it's just a matter of me buckling down and doing the work and just, like you say, 1% better every day. And it's completely changed my mindset from thinking other people had something I don't have to just seeing what they're doing is what they need to do.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and like for everyone listening, if you haven't heard this channel before, this channel is literally all about the journey to the top 1% and how do we get there? It's by becoming 1% better every day. So that's what's really the truly the basis behind what we're doing here. But I mean, before we get into it all the way, Josh, why don't you tell the guys who you are, what you do, and let's get into it, bro.
Sure. So my name's Josh Eldemire. I'm 34. I live in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. I'm a father to two boys that are 4 and 2. I'm a husband to an amazing woman that I've been with since high school. Um, pretty much raised in Columbus, Ohio. I went to school for engineering, and I've spent the last decade in that. Um, and alongside of that, I've grown a business on the side doing automotive detailing. So that's been a passion of mine since I got into cars when I was 16, and after watching Fast and the Furious back in the 2000s, and I've just kind of pursued that. It's been a big part of my life. So mentally, physically, it's really helped with a lot of things.
Man, that's really cool. And, to kind of pull it back towards something that you said at the beginning, which is like, understanding that there really is no cheat code. And I say that with all due respect because there are people who have just insane amounts of opportunities when it comes to whether it be their skill sets or, just some of these people do think differently. They do act differently. They do involve themselves differently, but it never truly gets unlocked until, to your point, you actually do the work. And, the more and more that like I look back to some of these people that, whether you want to excuse it as it being a gift or talent or whatever the case is, like at some point there is a part of the levels, if you will, that get separated, and it comes from like it doesn't matter how gifted you are, it doesn't matter how talented you are, it doesn't matter how much money your dad used to make, right? Like oh, yeah, honestly, it doesn't even matter how much money you were inherited or whatever, like whatever excuse someone could probably say, oh, must be nice for them because they have it better. If you start to look at the people who are putting in the reps, no matter what, they will always outpace someone that is leaning on crutches or leaning on, these silver spoons or whatever the case is. So I think that's something huge that like, let's talk about like what that's done for you in your life. I know we kind of briefly talked about it as one of your takeaways, but like where can you see in your life that true statement of being surrounded by people that are putting in the work like has directly impacted your life?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm relatively new to Uncaged. I think I joined in about, oh, man, 4 months ago or so, back in the end of 2024. And at that point, so like within my business, I was operating out of my home garage and doing details on the weekend. And that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years now. Since joining Uncaged, I've had opportunities presented to me, the main one being to move into a shop, which is where I am now. And I just grabbed that opportunity and basically ran with it, and not really sure where to go, not sure how to do this stuff, but just knowing that if I do the work, the results will come. And I've just really leaned into that mindset of doing the work and showing up and just being resilient. So it's not been easy, having kids and a wife and a full-time job, and then being like, okay, I'm going to grow a business on the side to have a full-time employee. Um, it's just required a lot of dedication and, waking up earlier and going to bed later. But I mean, I've found I enjoy it, and it's just, yeah, it's been a really great shift mentally.
That's cool. And like, I don't mean this to be like a pitch for Uncaged or, and I'm not trying to bend, words, but like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, what do you think would have happened if you were not involved? And this could be any group. It doesn't have to be Uncaged, but any group of like guys that do share are like-minded and do share the same commonalities of like doing the fucking work. Like what do you think would have happened if that opportunity for this shop had presented itself and you had not been involved in a group of like-minded men that were doing the work? And I'm just genuinely asking, what do you think would have happened?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to put it simply, I don't think I would have had the balls to do it because my confidence is something I've struggled with in the past. Like, I know my capabilities, and my capabilities for what I do is high because I push myself, but there's just always been a lack of confidence.
I like,
And
go ahead, keep going.
yeah, and I think just being around these other, people who are go-getters and they just put in the work just made me realize I can do this. And just gave me the confidence. And without Uncaged, I'm not sure I would have had the confidence to do this. I did the 30-day challenge, and that really helped lay out some roadmaps for me that allowed me to see if I do this, it can lead to what I want.
Yeah.
Where before it was just kind of shooting in the dark, being like, I think this might get me what I want. I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't on paper, it was in my head.
Mm. No, that's huge, bro. And I mean, honestly, I'm glad you answered it that way because like that it was a response similar to that I was looking for so that we can help other people because like, throughout Uncaged, the coolest thing about it is there's guys in all walks of life that are coming in all different areas and levels. And if I'm being honest, unless you are already running $100 million a year in your organization, like there are people above you in this group that you can learn from. But then also, like I know, like if you're just now starting out, there is a group of guys that are in there that are in a very similar position that are, lack of better terms, y'all can grow together. But the reason I wanted to ask that is like I liked how you said that, like about confidence. Like you had confidence in your skill set, but maybe not even confidence in yourself or whatever the case is. And I feel like that's something that like men struggle with if they're not involved in a group. And I'm not even going to call it an organization because, a little brief history about Uncaged. Like Uncaged started as just a regular iOS group chat between myself and two other guys. So like it doesn't really take a whole lot to position yourself with like-minded men to give you that confidence. But let's talk about that for a second because you know throughout this process you have gained confidence and the confidence and again I don't want to like put words in your mouth but the confidence comes from you doing things that you said you were going to do and then it becomes this compounding growth effect. So let's talk about that. Like, okay, cool, you got put in a fucking group of guys who are doing what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. Like at what point and what was that moment or that series of moments where you were like, holy shit, like these guys are rubbing off on me on a positive way? Like, what did that look like for Josh? Because again, I don't necessarily, I could be wrong, and maybe it is, but like, I don't necessarily see us being successful in what we're doing, giving you your balls back. I think Josh had to find his own balls, for lack of better terms. Like, let's talk through that for a little bit.
Yeah, so I think one example of that is when it comes to health. I mean, I've always prioritized health. I'm type 1 diabetic, so to me, health is a big thing. The eating side of that's always been real easy for me. I'm really good with my diet. The gym part, I've always struggled with. That's always been where I need some accountability. So for a while, I got into lifting about 3 years ago, and I worked with a personal trainer like twice a week, 30 minutes each time, basically the dad workout. And that's what really helped me get into the gym and build some skills in the gym. I don't want to say habits because I was skipping the habits part by paying for an accountability partner with a trainer, but I also needed him to teach me some stuff. After a few years of working with him, absolutely love him. There were some things in my life where I couldn't afford it financially, and I left the gym. Being in Uncaged, I've started again rubbing, people have rubbed off on me what they do, and I've started going back to the gym, but this time on my own. Um, so that right there has been really helpful for me. Where before I was just kind of like, I'm not going to show up if I don't have someone there to show up with me. Now I just show up. I go by myself. I know what I need to do, and I do it. Where without Uncaged, I'm not sure I would have found that confidence and that um, ability to just show up for myself. So
That's really cool. Yeah, and there's like two pieces of that that I think like stood out just based on common denominators that I see in conversations that are being had in Uncaged, whether it be the free group, the VIP group, or guys that are going through the 30-day challenge, like at retreats, at meetups, like you name it. A lot of the common denominators through this stuff is like the compounding growth of confidence when you start with like little victories, if you will. Because like when you're first starting off, bro, just fucking waking up to go to the gym is a win. Then the next phase is like just driving to the gym is a win, right? But then it starts to compound and you judge your wins differently based on like the growth that you're seeing. So like, I joke about it some but it's like a real thing, we pray for God to give us strength and then God sends us a workout and like then we're fucking frustrated, right? And and it's ironic that we're talking about actually working out because like I just
mhm.
mean in all areas of your life. But like so as you start to wake up earlier to go to the gym or whatever the case is, like then at some point it's like the frame of the veteran. Like at some point waking up isn't the hard thing. Like it becomes ingrained in us. It becomes embedded in us. And at one point driving to the gym is no longer the hold up, right? And then actually getting your workouts in 3 days a week no longer becomes the workout. It's going to the gym 4 days a week and then from 4 days to 5 days or whatever that like looks like. And it's cool when you like to start to look back on your life and see how far you've grown and how much stronger you've grown. That's where like you start to build up confidence in all areas of your life, which is the other part I was going to mention that we talk about in Uncaged a lot is how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? And it's like when you start to find out that you allow yourself to make excuses to not go to the gym, it's like, bro, like I'm not going to go to the gym because I am healthy. And, they say, 90% of being healthy is your diet. And I already got the hard part done. So no need to go to the gym. Like I don't mind being a 90 percenter. Right. And then that's like, well, then you become a 90 percenter in your job, like this business. You're like, oh man, well, I'm already doing all the work out of my garage. Why do I really need a shop? Like that's for the 100 percenters. I'm just a 90 percenter. But then you start to see how that affects your relationship with your wife and your kids. And you, it literally like how you do one thing's how you do everything. Like what's been your experience can you see like in your life how that has been true where like as you started to improve one area of your life, all areas of your life have improved?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's in an area that I didn't expect it to improve, which is my relationship with my wife. Love her to death. I think that we've got a great relationship. Like every couple, we have our, bumps along the way. But what I've found is that as I've been focusing on myself and making all these improvements, my relationship has gotten stronger without me even consciously trying to do that. And I see a lot of talk in Uncaged, about, there's about relationships and stuff. But I've always just kind of like, I've got a great relationship. I love my wife, we're good. And I think I just got complacent, didn't even realize it. And now, without even realizing it or trying to intentionally do it, I'm making improvements in our relationship. I'm just being more affectionate. I'm just being more open. And yeah, I think my wife's just been happier. Like I see her smile with me more, and I know shit, there wasn't like anything bad between us, but like
Right.
she's just been smiling more. She's been reciprocating that deep love more, and it's just been a really amazing unintentional result of just showing up for myself every day, and then it improves something I didn't even mean for it to improve.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Jeff and Autumn, man, I love them to death. They've got an incredible relationship. And we had a funny moment at the last couples retreat because Jeff had told us a story. He's like, Autumn was like, she was like, "Is it time for another retreat yet? Because you kind of been like acting like an asshole lately." And she said it was just funny because like, when we come back from these retreats, we're fired up and like it's top of mind, right? Like, oh, taking your wife on date nights or this, that, and it's, all areas of life, but improving ourselves is top of mind. And so it was just kind of a funny moment, but and when it's funny that when we start to think about that, because that's one of the big things we talk about at the retreats. Like you come to the co-ed retreat, the couples retreat, like it's not like couples counsel. It's how do we go there to improve ourselves for ourselves? It's not like, oh, how can I be a better husband or how can she be a better wife or how can we be a better married couple? It's like, how can I as a man be a better man and how can she as a woman be a better woman? And like theoretically, like we start growing together because of that. Because I mean, let's be honest, like we can all if we can all agree that there's room for improvement, okay, let's just like because we're not going to be like my wife should be better, like okay, let's agree that we can all there's a room for improvement. If my wife becomes a better woman, of course I'm going to be excited and like draw like that relationship's going to be strength, like of course I'm going to want to do everything I can to keep her locked down for lack of better terms. Like she's already fucking incredible. She gets even better. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like I want this forever, and vice versa. So like for us as the men, as we're working on ourselves and being a better, man, like of course our wives are going to want to be with someone that's like in healthier shape or is a stronger, more affectionate, loving husband and a more responsible and involved father and like a successful business owner. Like who here, especially that's listening, is like, oh yeah, and obviously it's gonna be a roles reverse here, but it's like, oh yeah, my wife has no drive. Like I'm so attracted to that. Like of course the more successful we are in our businesses or in our careers, it doesn't have to be a business owner, but like the more driven as a man we are to like put in the fucking work, of course our wives are going to be more attracted to us, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Absolutely.
awesome. Uh, outside of that, dude, like how do you like, okay, confidence is rebuilding. What do you see being that this next level? Like, what are you focused on? You've gotten your confidence either back or you found a whole new confidence, whatever the case is. So like you're kind of walking around as like this different version of yourself that you weren't 4, 5, 6 months ago. So like what's next? Like how do you see yourself, especially considering like you made it through the 30-day challenge? Like there's like a fucking whole future ahead of you. Like how do you take this momentum and continue this process down this journey?
Yeah. So I think the first thing I do is I have to raise the bar for myself. So I've hit a level that I wanted to be at previously, and now it's time. Okay, what's that next level? So I mean, just yesterday, I mean, I just opened up this shop. I've got one employee working with me. It's requires a lot more cash flow than me by myself out of my garage. So looking forward, I'm like, okay, well, and this goes back to the 30-day challenge. Like, what levels do I need to hit? What are my goals? So I took those, wrote them down, did some math, and and then bumped it up. I was like, okay, let's not stop there. Let's see what's it going to take to get to that next level. Like, I know this is doable. It's what seems not doable today. So I wrote that down, and then I started working some math back on it. As an engineer, I agree everything's a math problem, and and then I was like, well, shit, this is doable. Like even this level that seemed unfeasible, like we can do this. This will take time. There will be headaches and hardships along the way, but I can do this.
Hmm. No, man, that's really cool. And I think that's the mindset though that like separates a lot. It's like, man, I don't know. And I catch it myself. Like I'm a very ambitious person and I move fast and I try to I'll do anything I need to make it work morally and ethically, right? And so I set audacious goals and it's like that whole like saying like shoot for the moon, land amongst the stars, whatever. And really a lot of that is just combating complacency. But like when you have this newfound mindset of like already understanding like shit's gonna happen, shit's gonna go sideways, not everything's gonna go perfectly to plan. Like if you can prepare for that, to be unprepared, it puts you in a whole different perspective because for me, the way I look at it, or I try to look at it, is it's almost like a game. Because the thing about it is if I'm facing it somewhere, somehow, some way, my competitors will face it too. And when you come to an obstacle and a roadblock, there's two types of fucking people. The ones that quit because they're like, oh, this is it. This is the end of the road. And quit being like, they either quit progressing or they quit altogether. Like they hit the roadblock, they're like, no, fuck it, I'm out. Like this isn't what I signed up for. Or they hit it and they're just like, oh, well, this is the new norm for me. This is the glass ceiling that I feel like is a concrete ceiling. Like they just stop there in their journey. And so for me, every time I hit an obstacle, it's almost like a prideful thing where like I'm gonna be the motherfucker that wins. I'm gonna be the motherfucker that gets through this. And first of all, I'm not gonna quit because I'm not gonna let someone else find a way through it, over it, around it, you name it. I'm not gonna let someone else figure it out and leave me stuck looking like a fucking idiot. But the flip side of that thought process is when I hit it, I'm like, fuck yeah. I know that there's going to be some competition that drops off here. So I know that when I get on the other side of this obstacle, it's greener pastures. And then we move on to the next obstacle and then less competition. And then we move to the next and then there's less competition. And you kind of keep climbing this fucking ladder of success. And the higher you go, the further the rungs are. But that also means the least amount of people will be able to reach them. So I think that's huge, bro. And I'm excited to see what this does for you. So like, what are some of these lessons that you're using to scale this detail company?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big ones that you just touched on is just doing the stuff that other people don't want to do. There's been a lot more opening this shop than I could have anticipated. I've never opened a business with a physical location and someone on payroll. So it's just been more with insurances, taxes, all the kind of stuff no one wants to do. And I've just been showing up to do it. And I'm just like you said, it's almost like a game. I've gamified it. I'm just like, this is, you know what? This is a level I gotta get past. And once I get past it, there'll be another level. But like some are harder than others, some I enjoy more than others. And I've just been using that mindset to do the things other people might not want to do. And I'll just keep applying that. So, we've got two of us here now. I fully anticipate to outgrow this shop within a couple of years. That's my goal is within 2 years to be somewhere bigger, better, more people, and just giving our people as good of a life as they can. And I'm just using all these little things that I'm picking up from people in Uncaged and applying them.
That's awesome, man. And without like talking shit, because that's definitely not my intention, but like we actually have a huge population of uncaged members like in the Ohio area. And I don't know if this is if this contradicts what I'm about to say or like just proves that there's a need for it. But for lack of better terms, like some of the guys either who are currently still resided in Ohio or were born or lived there and then got the fuck out. It's like, man, like Ohio is just not the best for men to find other men that are like-minded when you're focused on personal and professional development. And so, throughout life, and I even look at my own life, like at some point I had to go down this personal development journey. Like at some point, there was something that clicked. I was in the right place at the right time with the right people, or like all the cards were ready to fall in place. Like I needed that last missing piece of the puzzle, and it clicked, and I was like, "Cool, I'm in. Here we go." Um, let's talk about like what that journey's been like for you, because like I said, we've got I mean, shit, we've got a regional in Columbus, Ohio. So like there's a good amount of guys in and around that area that all have up to this point shared a very similar mindset that like no one that we knew or knew of or were around or surrounded by our friends or family cared about like making it to the next level, in life. And so therefore, to your point originally, is like this level of understanding the law of averages and who you're surrounding yourself with. Like, what was what has this been like for you to like realize? And again, I'm not asking you to talk shit about your friends or family that you grew up with, but like at some point you had to realize like that there was more out there, and in order to achieve that, like you needed to be around people that understood that. What was that journey like for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I can confirm based on my experience. Ohio is not a place where it's easy to find this level of male camaraderie and similar minded people, because I've not found it here before this. And I've looked a lot. The last time I experienced anything remotely close to this was when I was in college for engineering, which sucks. It's a hard degree, maybe not the hardest, but like it's a challenging one. And the people you're doing it with become your brothers. My best friends I made were from that. You're up late, you're working hard, you're pushing to better yourself. And then after college, I never found anything like that again. Your friends move to different states, you don't see them because you're getting married, having kids, working, and they have different goals and ambitions. And like you said, I mean, I'm not talking down on anyone. Some people are just different, and that's fine. I respect what everyone wants to do, but trying to do what I'm doing, which is to grow something and build something better, I've had a hard time finding people like that. And other people, even if they're an employee and they just have a similar mindset. I joined a church. I've been trying to meet people through that. That's been helpful. Again, not the same though. I've been in networking events, trying to meet similar minded people. I've met a couple, but not many. Not a really tight knit circle or group like this. So once I joined Uncaged, I started seeing like, shit, these are the people I've been looking for, and they're all over the country. But that's okay. They're talking every day. We're messaging back and forth. I've been on calls with a few guys, um, and now with the regional, it's just another level up. It's another step to now we're going to meet in person. Now we're going to break bread together and laugh and learn face to face. And I mean, I've got that in 2 days. I've got our first regional meetup here in 2 days, and I'm stoked for it.
No, man, I'm excited for it, bro. The Columbus boys are giving us Orlando boys a run for our money as far as the regional. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, and that's what's been really cool about the development of the uncaged events, both the retreats and the regionals, because the more we started to really dive into like what men need and what men want outside of a group like this, and not only like what they need and want, but like how they were brought into the community. It all comes down to relationships. And so, inside of Uncaged, that's what's been really, really cool is the level of loyalty that's been created and the level of just like, to your point earlier, that camaraderie where these guys will go out of their way to help any way that they can. And that is what having a group of like-minded men specifically, that is what gives us the level up, because if you could think of 200 men that are all looking at how can I help my fellow brothers the most, when you go to give your one piece in to the community, you get 10 back. And it's just been a really cool opportunity to really kind of sit back and watch this grow. And I've been very honest from day one that like selfishly, I just wanted to sit around people that were like-minded, that shared the same, vision and mission and core values, so that I inevitably could grow myself. Because that's what's cool about like the law of averages, the way we look at it in Uncaged is the better we all are individually, and if you believe an individual is the average of the group, then the individuals can actually raise the average of the group. And likewise, the better that we all are, collectively, the collective group, once the average of it raises and the individual is the average of the group, then so does the individual grow. So it's been really cool to see how that, this process has given us the opportunity to all individually grow, but all also have a shared loyalty to the community to see it succeed as well. But no man, it's really, really fucking cool. And I mean, like what's next for you, bro, as far as like, you know, you determined that you went through the 30-day challenge and you realize that, this business can give you a path to achieve that, dream life. But what does your dream life look like you and your wife and your kids, the business, not the business, the job, not the job? Like what's a dream life look like to Josh?
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest thing to me that I've learned throughout my life and through some hard times is health. If my family's healthy, I've got them around me. Like that is the essence of my dream life. I can't have my dream life without my kids and my wife and my family. It's just like, I mean, I'd still be around, but it would just be different in an
Right.
unfortunate way. So having their health is the big thing. But like leveling up, I just simple things to me are what really make a difference. I don't want to have to think about paying a bill. I just want everything to just be on auto pay and just let it go. Because I know it's accounted for. If we want to go on a trip, I don't want to have to save up for a year. I just want to be able to build my savings and my investments steady enough to where it's just like, we want to go do something, fine, we'll go do it. Basically, I just, for a lack of better terms, it's like I just want to be uncaged from this cage that I've kind of built for myself, and I have no one to blame but myself for this. But not that I'm in a bad life or anything by any means, but um, yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to have some more sick cars. I love cars. It'd be fun to have more time to take them to the racetrack, get out there, burn some rubber. I mean, to me, that's like my ideal fun day is going to the track and just hammering a V8 around for hours. So that traveling and just giving my kids the life that they want someday, whatever that might be, just making memories with them and doing experiences and hopefully passing on what I've learned to them. I hope that what I've learned, they don't have to go through as long of a time frame to learn it. So if
Yeah.
I can build this life for myself and I don't even have to tell them what to do, they'll just see it. Set the example.
100%, bro. Yeah, dude, I don't know if it's like institutionalization or like what, but it's the more that I think about it, like you joke about like the house, the two kids, the cars, like the white picket fence, like career, like this is the American dream, right? Whereas like we start to like really unpack, you know, they claim that's the American dream, but somewhere in there the American gets lost, and we don't hear things like financial freedom, freedom of location, freedom of time, stuff like this is also cliche and just taboo to us that like, oh, that's for someone else. Like that's for someone that was given that, or that's for someone else whose dad handed it to them, right? And at some point there has to be trailblazers, right? And when we start paying attention to some of these statistics and realizing how many like first generation, millionaires there are, and stuff like that. And again, we talk about it openly inside of Uncaged, but it's easy to get misconstrued. Like the money isn't everything, but also the money is everything, right? And what I mean by that is oh, you want to make memories with your kids? Oh, that is so commendable. It takes fucking money, bitch. Like, you know what I mean?
That's
Like,
right.
if you don't
Yeah.
want to be a miserable piece of shit while you're out on fucking vacation because you went into debt to do it, like, it takes fucking money. And, and so that's a big part of like what we kind of, to your point earlier, is like just reverse engineering the math. It's like, you can do anything. You might not be able to do everything, but you can do anything you want if you fucking want it bad enough. And so that's what's cool for, seeing you grow and like opening up the shop. And then now it's like, okay, cool. What's the next phase of the shop? Is it all comes down to how bad do you really want it? Because you can sit here and tell us all day long that you want to, travel the world and have cool cars and go racing, but like, if you're not actually doing the shit it takes, then like, do you really fucking want it, bro? So
No, no, actions speak louder than words.
100%, bro. Well, man, what's something like based on the conversation we've had here and like for the people that are listening, like if we could send them off with something that just, you know, intentionally there is someone out there that connects with your story, right? That's what's so incredible about Uncaged is there's so many different people, all different walks of life, all different personalities and personas, that there's going to be a lot of people that don't fucking connect to me, right? But they love you, right? They connect to you, they gravitate towards you. And I've got a different story than you have a different story than everyone else has a different story. And so there's going to be people that like can really relate to you as a specific person that then becomes tangible the more that they surround themselves with Uncaged or whatever and gets to know Josh or maybe shows up to the regionals or starts coming to the retreats or whatever the case is. And Josh then becomes a real person, right? Like what you were saying earlier about being able to meet these people in real life. But like for that person that's like listening, it's like, man, fucking Josh, he's got a message that I like. He has a personality that I'm gravitated towards. Like, what's if you could talk to that person, like what is a piece of advice that you would be able to give them to hopefully set them down the path or similar journey as, always striving to improve?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say there's really nothing special about myself. There's like I hit on before, there's no superpowers, there's no special secrets or hidden talents like allowing me to progress myself. If I can do this, you can do this too. Anyone can do this. And just know that you can and should believe in yourself, even when it feels like there's nothing to believe in. I've experienced these days where you're just like, I can't do this, but you can. And that's part of the game. So just know there's a community of people out there that want to see you win and are here to help you. And with that, you can do anything.
That's fucking awesome, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you for hanging out with us, spending some time here with us. What is something we can do to pay you back for the time you spent with us here today?
Oh man, geez. I don't know. I'm not a very selfish person when it comes to that. I mean, just if this story resonated with you, or if you found any help in this, let me know. I That would make me feel good to know I was able to help someone else.
Awesome, man. And social media, Josh Eldemire on Facebook,
Yep,
where can they find
yep,
you?
yeah. Facebook, Instagram. Josh Eldemire. My business is Auto Aesthetic. You can check us out. I'm we TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So
That's awesome, man. Well, Josh, I appreciate you. And if you're here listening, again, if you liked something, if you got something out of it, please reach out. Let Josh, myself know. Drop it in the comments. Give it a share because there's someone out there that needs to hear a story very similar to this, just like you did. So we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.